You don't think I look like Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
All aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success one adventure at a time. Welcome to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by Big Tuna Websites, where business owners learn and explore ways to take charge and level up. Today, we're going to take a Tales from the Crypt episode, sharing some horror stories we've had with lunatic clients, jobs from hell, and crazy employees. We are your hosts. I am Kevin Fontaine, and this is mi hermano de otra madre, Patrick Harders, an outdoor lighting
Kevin.
design manufacturing genius. What's that?
I said, how you doing, Kevin?
Good. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. What's going on there, Yoda?
I think I look more like Bernie Sanders. I think that's my look. It's a political season, last week of the election.
Yeah, man. Come down the wire, baby.
Yeah, I had a Trump mask, never came in, so I went with Yoda. A lot of
Yoda
wisdom.
/ Sanders.
Yeah.
I am a steampunk mime. I don't know. It's a new one.
My facial expression didn't change.
Yeah. All right. So today we're going to share some horror stories. Pat, me and you have been through the ringer
Yeah.
over the years. And, I guess we'll start with like accidents. Have you ever had any accidents with trucks, vehicles, equipment?
Crazy, 25 years, and knock on wood, whatever. But we really haven't. We had one small accident in Burger King parking lot, but that's it. No falling off ladders. I mean,
Wow.
God's
That's-
grace, something. I don't know what it is, but man, we just have been very fortunate.
That is unbelievably awesome. We had one accident we had where I think I told you the story before, but my guys are going down. This happens to be Harrison Boulevard. It's like a 4-laner. And they go down to the bottom of this hillside there, and they didn't realize it, but a guy was pulling into his own driveway with a truck and trailer, small little one-axle trailer, and it bottomed out a little bit as he went into his driveway and came off the hitch and started creeping back into Harrison Avenue. My guys didn't catch it in time, and it just like blazed past them, like took out our mirror or something like that. And that was pretty insane.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Yoda part-time. Just so people knew who I was. We did have one time we showed up a week early to an install. So we're not supposed to be there. Scheduling system got screwed up. We got to the customer's house. I called the guys. I'm like, hey, you're at the wrong house. And they took out the guy's mailbox on the way out. So we haven't even installed the lights. And we're like, hey, we showed up a week early and we destroyed your mail.
Oh, that's the client's house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way, dude.
Still went with us. Got a good review, but, had to buy a new mailbox. So it's like,
Did you have that budgeted?
that was not. That was a small one, but
Every company, home service company's taken out a mailbox in their lifetime.
yeah, especially when you have trailers. Trailers are the worst.
No doubt. Enjoying a little IPA beverage over here.
Yeah.
Loving some
I'm looking for
IPAs.
one. I went right from one meeting to the next and then go to a consult and then came back here just to hang out with you tonight.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate it so much. It's Halloween, baby.
Yeah.
We're excited, man. We've been cranking the sales. I think I told you we won that big HOA community recently.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to ZebBit software and estimation software. They are taking my template that I've used for 20 years that refines an estimate to so accurate. They're going to help me get it on their platform. We can't wait to share that with everyone once it comes out. But
Yeah.
we won. We're a little higher than they were used to paying.
Mhm.
but my value building skills, Patty,
Yep.
I was able to win them over with my solution based approach. Because, me and you were not the most lively salesmen out there, but
No.
I like killing them with facts and solutions.
Yep.
And so they appreciated it. And, of course, good references and all that good stuff. So we won that. And then we just been slaying a lot of plant jobs. And it's really good time of year for us, man. Awesome.
Yeah. Weather's been good. It's that season that we should be getting jobs. We found like leads have been a little slower than usual. DC is also a crazy market. Wherever people think they are politically, as far as like how much their market's affected, this area is just insane.
Right.
So it is what it is. We just deal with it. Next week, the election ends, and thank God, and we move on from there.
Hell yeah, man. And get on with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You doing
Yoda's
some trick or treating
tonight?
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. No, we have we only get a handful of kids coming around.
Oh, we don't ever. If we get no kids, no trick or treaters.
The only kids you get's your goats coming in.
Yeah, goats coming in. We never get them. But that's actually one of the strange facts about me. The only food I detest, don't like eating, is chocolate. So like Halloween just does nothing for me.
Yeah.
My daughter, I mean, she gets like pillowcases of candies and.
Yeah, man. I remember going through. We used to penetrate high-end HOAs that were upscale.
Yeah.
And they gave out the big full size candy bars.
Big Snickers and big Reese's Pieces, 3-packs.
Big time, man. We hit that hard each year.
Start off at like 9 a.m., finish off at about 11 at night.
Late as hell. Even got into a little egg throwing.
Yeah. You remember growing up as kids, so it was like, hey, there's people are putting like razor blades in apples, and it was just like poisoning kids' foods. And
big scare.
Yeah, that all died out. I think our parents were just stealing candy from us, but we never hear about that anymore. I guess I guess we've gotten better in one thing in this world.
They had to sift through our pillow sacks.
Yeah.
I remember I had these, mom got me these Dracula teeth made out of wax.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost them in our neighborhood. And she literally the next day took me to go find them. She's that frugal.
Huh.
And we found the damn things in somebody's driveway, I think, if I remember correctly.
Did you ever use them again or give a crap?
Who knows?
Just did enough to make your mom happy.
Yeah, moms, man, they're all worried about buying shit and using it again and all that.
Yeah.
Good old moms. Shout out to the moms out there. We love you guys. All right, let's talk about crazy employees, baby. You got any good stories?
I've got, when we run into him, I had a guy that he just knew he was problematic, but you kind of had hope, like maybe I could work with him and fix him because he seemed like he could be good in sales and we could develop him. But I remember he came up and he's like, hey, you guys are in a lift. We're doing cafe lights or bistro lights. And he's like, you guys are in a lift. If you don't have a harness on that, it's like a $15,000 fine if OSHA finds you. And of course, as soon as Josh, my head guy, gets up in the lift, OSHA comes pulling up. So he actually he called OSHA on us.
Who did?
And we found out
an employee.
Yeah, our own employee, and then wondered why he got fired, which I didn't fire him for that because that's illegal.
Surely not.
Yeah. The next 3 days later, when he was 5 minutes late for work.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You have a one-time policy for being late.
Yeah. Actually, he got injured 2 days later. So I'm like waiting for my chance to fire him. He gets injured. And I was like, oh, that's why we actually hired a company, just an HR, like you share an HR representative, and we put a retainer down for like $2,000 for the year. And if there's ever an issue like that, like how quickly can I fire this guy? We'll consult this one lady, and she just kind of walks us through the legal issues and everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of stipulations and legal verbiage and muck that you have to go through, and human resources is a whole rigmarole, man, to correctly curtail someone out. It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
We had a girl in Sterling when actually we had a girl that was hiring for us. So Damien and we're just starting off, and she interviewed all these girls for answering phones. Hired this one. She comes in on her first day. She's 8 months pregnant. We're like,
Hey, that wasn't part of the interview, was it?
I was like, oh, we didn't think like you're going to need time off next week, and then we have 6 week, or 2 months or something off. I'm like, might have just waited.
You don't have a
little bit.
maternity leave?
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Paid?
We had to, yeah, it was a paid maternity leave as soon as she
Yeah.
got hired. I'm like,
For 9 months? Yeah.
yeah.
My God. So I had this one employee, we'll call him Jimbo. Jimbo liked to work solo, and he liked to milk a clock.
Yeah.
So one day, Jimbo was to drive a dump truck of ours to meet up with an installation crew because they needed to load debris or whatever. Well, 2 hours later, I get a call from the job site foreman. Hey, where's Jimbo? I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's not there yet? All right, let me call. Called him up. He's lost. Didn't call anybody to tell anybody he's lost. Man, I don't know where I'm at, man. I'm in the country. And I said, well, damn it. I have to go up on Google, look, and help him get there. And, they have maps on phones now. And I had to, help him out with that. And then hang up. 30 minutes later, he calls and says, I ran out of gas. Diesel. Not gas, diesel. And running out of diesel is a big deal because you could suck air and really screw shit up. So, oh my God. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was a winner.
Yeah. We could go on and on. Guy whose truck broke down on the side of the road. He called me up. It's like, this truck's not safe to use. Get out there. The gas cap wasn't on. Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
These are tough problems to solve.
Yeah. And employees, God bless them. They have some of them have a mindset of I'm going to infiltrate this company, just dissect where the weak points are, and try to infiltrate and get myself wedged in this problem area that they find out you have, similar to breaking out of jail.
Yeah.
Finding the weak points, analyzing the staff, the prison guards, and finding that moment they can break out.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen to me quite a bit because landscaping, we hire the best of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Cream of the crop.
This is white collar work, bro.
Yeah.
And so we got cream of the crop coming through every day. And over the years, you get some real winter chicken dinners coming through that really, man, I tell you, a bad employee can wreak so much havoc to a good, a good system that you got going on.
Yeah. You ever let an employee go and it actually, things run smoother and better and more efficient after losing someone? Like, you have 3 guys on a job, you fire one of them, you have 2 of them. Like, you guys actually got done faster, better. Like, everything went so much smoother. Having that third person on there that you think even 3 warm bodies would make a difference. And it's like, no, they were just killing it, bringing morale down, nobody wants to work with them.
Talking shit, bad mouthing everything.
Yeah.
I pulled up to a job site one time. We were building this big walkway system where you had to put timbers down, I believe, and then we filled it with rock, etc. I mean, you're talking thousands of feet, dude. This is like a week-long project. And I pull up thinking they're going to be, oh, man, they're going to be, because I thought I had my good guy there. I thought they're going to be, a couple hundred feet in. Man, they're like 15 feet in the job. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? You guys are fucking around. And
Mhm.
I look, and one of the guys is way up on the edge of the parking lot. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing? Oh, he
Mhm.
just went and got him some cigarettes. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, Foreman? You
Yeah.
can't hold your people accountable. They can't go walk to a store during production hours. Are you kidding me? And then I
Yeah.
smelled pot on them. And so they're all smoking weed. That was crazy.
Yeah. There is a mindset that happens, and it's like you need to overcome it of, like you're the big boss man making all this money. So, you could get really quickly with one bad person, all of a sudden they infiltrate and nobody's working for the team. And I mean, I think like once a month I give a talk on like, rising tide lifts all ships. If I'm making money, things are going well, we could do more, we could grow. So it's, you got to get out of that, got to get your people out of that mindset of us versus them,
Yes.
whatever you're looking at. So
Get them on the same page of growth and what tomorrow looks like. And,
and it's hard.
It's hard,
You-
but,
you-
we did a job career path to help show people all the stages of our company and where they could go in the future and the pay schedules of each job. So that helps. But I tell you, once they, a bad apple, man, starts running in the game, talking about, what do you make per hour? What are you making per hour, man? Oh, I'm making this. God damn, I started way before you. You're making more than me. What?
Yeah.
That whole shit goes around.
Or you get a good guy coming up underneath and you got that, the foreman that's threatened by it. And, it's like, boy, that's a tough situation when somebody's, 1 year into the job or 6 months out into the job and they're outperforming the guy that's been there 4 years.
Right.
And you got to say, hey, we're performance based. Like, I don't mind somebody moving up past another person.
Yeah. And I think, Pat, you still have employees. I subcontract out everything.
Yeah.
But I think the future is
Robots.
Tesla robots, baby. I think the future's going to be either getting your employees a part of revenue, giving them a percentage based on rank and longevity, or you pay them just like a subcontractor. Here's X amount of work. You get paid a straight level for that work. The quicker you do it, the more, the less time you put into that work. As long as it's of quality, you got to check behind them.
Yep.
But I tell you, man, I was paying employees, people that came in knew that we just needed a Moblo Go guy. Back in the day, we could get away with $10 an hour, $12 an hour, 14. If they had a license, we'd have to go 14, 16, 18. But today, you get somebody with a license and shit, they're going to want like what, 25,
easy,
28. And it's very hard to make good profit with that high of a pay scale. So, look at McDonald's. Shit, they were paying their workers minimum wage or a little bit over.
What did Trump make?
Trump?
Working
that's
at
right.
McDonald's?
When he did the fry duty. But so look at McDonald's. What happened to them? They're now hit with probably a unionized system of we got to give everyone this big, huge scale pay raise across all stores. And now you go there and a damn meal is what, $14 now?
Yeah.
It used to be 5 or 6.
But I do think that incentive base, I mean, you think of like how we really came up in business is like we got paid on the job. And, I always try and look at it like I want my people to have my same mindset. And I was actually just talking to another guy running a business. He's like, hey, he had 2 technicians. He's like, I wanted my lead technician to be great. So I started him off at 80 grand a year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
He's like, and the guy was like, hey, I don't want to work past 1 o'clock on Fridays. I don't like, everybody gets comfortable if you give a set pay, they get comfortable with their set pay. And I was like, you're going to need to fire them. Like, unfortunately,
big time.
Because what are you going to do? Bring them down to 50 and give them incentive pay to make 80 or 90 or whatever you're looking at? Like,
That's right.
it's just you built the wrong culture.
I think you got to have a carrot in front of every employee's face. You got to give them a plateau to hit and exceed past. Because if you don't, they get complacent. They're going to do as little as they can to justify their position and get that weekly pay.
Yeah. What was that, Office Space? Where it's like, I do just enough to not get fired.
And then he goes in and starts peeling fish at the damn desk. And shit. All right, I got a workman's comp nightmare for you. All right, so I used to hire a lot of girls, women. And we would have them do all the flower annual perennial changes, because we used to do a lot of flower power, baby. Yeah. Tons of flowers at the entrances to HOAs, commercial properties, even residential. And I had a team of girls that would just do that. And they would water too. I had other jobs they could do throughout the year to keep them busy. And so I hired one woman, and she didn't disclose, because when you're hiring, you're interviewing, you ask questions. Do you have the ability to lift 50 pounds, crawl or bend over, stoop and bending consistently throughout the day? Those are legal questions. Do you have any impairments or previous yada yada that would prevent you from doing this role that you're applying for? And these are all legal questions, right? So she said, yeah, I can do all that. Well, we were prepping for an annual flower installation. She's out in the warehouse loading up mulch bags. And we would provide them those, what do you call those, belt support belts?
Yeah.
With that big waistband.
We don't use them, but yeah.
Yeah. But that helps, some people with a bad back or whatever, but we just did it. Everybody gets issued their PPE. That's part of it. Well, she bent over, picked up just one mulch bag. Something went on in her back, and she's like out. And so we immediately go take her to urgent care. They then escalate it, and now she's off to an emergency room. $300,000 later, we finally got her case resolved through workman's comp. Wow. It took back surgeries that we had to fund and pay for through our workman's comp, obviously. Our mod went up like this, dude.
Yeah.
After that, it was $300,000 in hospital bills.
Yep.
So you never know. One little mulch bag.
So you win all subs.
That's what I wanted to do. This was this was like 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy out there. You got to really be careful of that stuff. All right, let's go to lunatic clients.
Oh, I got it.
Lunatic clients, baby. You got any crazy client stories?
I think one of my favorite ones, least favorite, was actually he was just a horrible person. So we did the lighting system for him, got everything done, and we had to do something inside. We're messing with some cables. So one of my guys unplugged his printer. Say an hour and 10 minutes away, drive all the way. I mean, just finished. It was 2 days straight, 3 days straight doing an install. Get all the way back, pull in my driveway. This guy just calls screaming at me. He's like, I can't print this damn document. I'm like, is it plugged in? He's like, I'm not going to check it. I'm like,
what? How can I check that?
Yeah. I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, come back in here. He's screaming at me. I'm like, so I jump back in the truck.
Wait a minute. How did one of your guys unplug a printer?
It was in the basement. We had a transformer in the basement.
Oh, okay.
We were next to his
figuring
office.
Out shit.
Yeah. So I get out there, plug his frigging printer in, and I'm talking to his wife afterwards, and she was funny. She's like, I can't wait till he dies. I'm going to move out of Virginia the day he's dead. And he did die, and that was great. We never heard from him again after that. And she moved like a month later.
Oh my God,
That was a
dude.
good one.
How far away was the client?
Hour and 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
then I
my
had
God.
another guy, similar thing. He had, I had to go out there on a Saturday. So I hate going out on the jobs on Saturdays, but it was just like a service call. He was getting ready to go out of the country.
Mhm.
Do my service call. I think he had like 2 light bulbs out and his post lantern light bulb was out. So I changed out some light bulbs. Everything's working. Get back home. Same thing, screaming at me, yelling. And he's like, you knocked out the power to my house. I'm like, I'm changing light bulbs. Like, it's physically impossible.
Don't
He
you
goes,
have a
"Well, what?"
fuse panel?
Yeah. He's like, well, what did you do? I'm like, there's no way I can knock out the power. And we're heated at this point. I can't knock out the power of your fucking house. It's like impossible.
Right.
So then, he calls me. I'm driving back to his house to see what's going on because he's like, literally, I'm getting on a plane in 3 hours. I don't have power. And I'm like, did you check your neighborhood? He's like, yes, I'm the only one without power. You did something. I'm pulling in. I'm probably, I don't know, half a mile. It was a good 45 minutes, hour or whatever. Pulling into his like subdivision. He calls me up. He's like, hey, good news. The entire neighborhood's out of power. You didn't do it. I'm like, oh, you didn't think my light bulb knocked out the entire neighborhood? Then the guy still
Implosion.
has the audacity to call me later to add more lights and things like that. He's like,
What an
and
asshole.
he's like, he calls me and it's like a $2,000 or $3,000 design.
Did you put the asshole tax on him?
Yeah, I
for
was
that
like,
job?
that'll be $4,000. He's like, I'll do it for $2,000. And I'm like, no, I'm not discounting
Now he's
this.
bargaining.
Yeah, he's bargaining with me. And he did say to me, he goes, I know you probably would be much happier doing like a $20,000 or $30,000 job like you did my neighbor versus dealing with me because I know I'm a pain in the ass. I'm kind of an asshole, but I still want to get better pricing. I'm like,
Go to
guess we're
Kmart,
stuck.
pal.
Yeah, I know. I guess we're stuck. But yeah, he pops up about every 3 years. Just like, Mike, you haven't found someone else to do your lighting yet? No. Calls me
Right.
about every 3 years to add more.
And I read a Facebook group. I participated in this conversation too. I think it's Launchpreneurs on Facebook. A guy has this horror story a little bit. So he's Moblo Go. Has a client. He accidentally cut down their bulbs. They have these bulbs, perennials, that shoot up from a bulb. And in order to be proactive, because he said their kind of landscape's kind of a mess. It's not very organized, formal. So she complained to him in the past about pruning. Well, he kind of thought, well, let me get ahead of her call again. I'm going to go ahead and prune these, what I think are weeds, down. And apparently it was her prized
her peonies.
Peonies gifted from St. Matthew 200 years ago. But anyway, so she's like, hey, I need you to replant these or replace them. And he kind of hem and hawed, and it went on for a few months. Well, it kind of went off the radar, and then he accidentally billed her for a cut or two that he didn't show up for through his software system, maybe. She texts him saying, hey, I just got this bill. You didn't show up this date. I was home all day. You know how homeowners get.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not using you anymore. And by the way, you owe me for the bulbs 5 months ago. And you need to pay me $90 to replace those. So he's posted this text thread on Launchpreneurs. Hey, what to do? And, what would
pay
you
the
have
$90
done?
Yeah, pay the $90 and be done with it. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
But that's got to just be built into your pricing at the beginning of the year. Like, what are your expenses? And you're just going to have some jobs that kill you. But it's, I think the biggest keys are stay away from like keyboard warriors, getting in arguments, like never get in an argument online. But, even when customers are really pissed off, it's like, hey, I'm coming out. Let's go figure this out. Because face-to-face is a different thing. And I had one customer that it was actually over peonies. My guy's trenched, put a line through her peonies, and she's like, came out screaming at him. She's like, those are my children, which is, worse than a cat.
I've heard that before.
Worse than a cat lady when your peonies are your children. And then I get there and she's like, "You're like a bad boyfriend."
Okay.
I'm like,
And
yeah.
are we going somewhere after this? You
Well,
asking me inside or what?
I was just kind of, I don't know what to do here, but just kind of tried to, the biggest thing is de-escalate the situation, because usually when they have that much anger, they have it towards like the world, and I
Yeah.
just want to get out of the crosshairs as quick as I can, appease it. It's if it's $100, damn, I'm writing that off every time.
Yeah. And the main thing with customer complaints and issues is you got to take care of those things immediately. No matter how small you think it is, it could be huge in their mind. And some crazy cat ladies will think about it every effing day.
Oh yeah.
And so we had a protocol way back in the day where we set up a support at, our website name, and all communications for questions and issues have to go through that, because we needed a timestamp of when we got it. That's a written record. No phone call bullshit or anything like that, because then it's he said, she said.
Yeah.
And then in our contracts, agreements, we state that, hey, upon receiving an issue via support at whatever, fontainelandscaping.com,
Yep.
we have 7 days to rectify the situation. Give us, that's our time. And so we would respond to them within 24 of a solution, and then we have up to 7 days to fix it if it's our fault. Right. So you got to figure that out. But, that's the thing, is like, act quickly, get rid of that dog shit, pay the shit off, whatever it takes, get rid of it, because you don't want trouble. You don't want them posting shit online.
Yeah, the energy you put, like firing an employee, like if you're an owner, I mean, you could be up at night, like worrying about firing an employee.
Absolutely.
You always got to keep in mind, it may be the first time you're firing someone, but to them, they've probably been fired a lot. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
And customers, once you could de-escalate the situation, I had a lady yelling at me and I just calmed her down. And then I'm like, I had a very straight talk with her. I'm like, nobody talks to me that way. I just don't allow it. So,
yeah,
I'm not sure how we're going to move forward. And she's like, well, I've learned to talk this way in order to get contractors to do what I want. I'm like,
no, not this contractor, baby.
No, not with me. I'm willing to walk away. I'm willing to be wronged on this one job, but I don't have time, energy. I don't want to waste it on. I've got customers that really want to do business with me, that are excited. And if you don't want to, that's fine. And walking away is sometimes they want you even more than. I've had customers who just go like, we're not a good fit here. And all of a sudden they start arguing why they are. And that's a funny one.
Yeah. And what we're doing, guys, is helping people with our previous knowledge. We're 28 years in myself, and we've been there, done that. And part of leveling up your business is to level up the professionalism of the industry in itself, because customers, especially 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, they were used to walking all over home service contractors. They felt, and this is just something in my brain, it might not have happened to you, Pat, but I always felt that customers felt that we were underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we had a contractor's license, all these certifications, whatever it was, we felt beneath them in the conversation. Not all clients, but some. So part of our job as business owners is to upscale the industry. And what that does, you're talking killer agreements, killer verbiage, killer processes, killer uniforms. You do a great job, but you do it consistently and all this stuff, and you're getting good reviews and all this good stuff. And what that does is it upscales the industry in itself, and then we can all get paid more.
Yeah.
And we're felt as a really an attrition to building up values of homes and property values and stuff like that, and reducing stress with your outdoor lighting and making their lives better and more stress-free and and more safe, safety, security, and all that good stuff,
And I do think it gets easier with time, like time, experience, confidence. Like some guys just naturally have it.
Yeah.
And I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing is when you're young and you're getting going is just getting caught up in the emotions. And you just gotta. I got a good friend tell me early on. He's like, in 50 years, who's going to care? You know,
There you
like
go.
yeah, if I
It's called perspective. You got to
yeah,
have you got to. So I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and as a
hmm
business owner, I had trouble with leading people because I was so emotional, and I made split decisions when I should have waited, peeled back, thought
yeah,
about it, figured out a solution or a response to a problem, and then talk to the customer or the employee. Me, I
yeah,
would just blast out whatever
yeah.
the hell was on my mind and just ruin shit and just
Six
ruin it.
beers into the night, going, "What did she write me?" Ah, I've
You
learned
know,
it's not bad to write it. Just don't send it. Wake up the
there you
next
go.
day and go, all right, is this really what I want to say? But it is that emotional thing because it's like you take
Well,
pride in what you're doing.
yeah, it's your
You're
baby.
excited. Yeah. And
You
it's
know,
like,
this business is your baby.
yeah. And all of a sudden you're getting attacked. And it's like, things just come out of the blue or five things happen at one time. And it's like, you need to de escalate situations and turn
Okay, I got a perfect example. This happened 2 weeks
here.
ago. This is at our 86 homeowner subdivision. So we got 86 homeowners every week to quality control and do a good job for in Apex, where I'm from here. And I get this email from a landscape board member and say, hey, you guys just mowed synthetic turf behind a customer's house. And she sent pictures and it shows synthetic turf that's been damn crushed to death. And I'm like, what in the flock of seagulls is going on here? And I said, all right, let me look into it. That's all I said. Well, I looked into it. I called my sub and sent him a picture and say, hey, dude, what the hell is going on here? Did you guys mow this yard?
Did he put lines in it and everything, make it look nice?
Make it all striped out looking? And he's like, no, we don't mow there because it's a fenced in area and we typically don't mow fenced in backyards. And I said, okay, well, thank goodness there. And so he said, yeah, he checked the area, the address, and he said, yeah, sure enough, we only mow one of these backyards on this street. And so I've sent that response. And then a couple days later, they emailed back. Guess what happened? What do you think it was?
Goats. Goats got in.
Well, well, yeah. The ricochet lighting off from the sun off a window melted a strip of synthetic turf.
That's wild.
Isn't that wild? So that's what it was.
Yeah.
But, people, they'll shoot off the hip and blame when they don't investigate and take the time to peel back, just as us business owners. So everybody, both sides, okay, clients, business owners, let's agree to take it easy, think about it's not that big of a deal, and then communicate. I think that's an overall best scenario there.
And I do think you have an opportunity if you're staying calm to defend yourself. I was walking a job with a customer during the nighttime, and he's like, by the way, your guys stole my ladder. I'm like, what?
Okay.
It's like, yeah, you guys stole my ladder. I'm like, your ladder? I'm like, what was it? And he starts telling me about it. This old, shitty 30-year-old wooden A-frame ladder.
Like you
like,
guys don't have 10,000 ladders.
Yeah, I was like, if I put my guys up on anything, if it's even wobbles a little bit, like we need a new one. Like they want all fiberglass, they want everything high end. I'm like, they're not going to touch out. Then I'm walking around and I see the ladder sitting in the bushes with weeds growing over it. So I said, is that your ladder? And he goes, oh, there it is. And he's like, well, they must have pulled it out of the garage. And I'm like, and made the plants grow on top of it?
Yeah,
So
intertwined.
So then, me being an asshole, I just was like, well, you did just accuse me of stealing from you. And we didn't. So, should we talk about that? And he's like, got very defensive. But
you got your checkbook on you?
Yeah, I was like, I actually do take offense to that because we're not stealing.
That's real shit, man. I mean, And you hate it
Mhm.
when your employees steal. We've had theft like hell, bro. You know, we
Yeah.
covered that one story of a guy that found out my office key code and worked his way in and stole a bunch of new steel equipment.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing, man. Desperate people will do desperate things to get by. And
Yep.
my God. And so you've got to be and that's the problem with me. And I've always battled this. You want to be this fun, outgoing boss that's proactive with them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll do this. And then you get people stealing behind your back and doing stupid shit. And so
Yeah.
you build up this guard. You know, I got calluses over the years, man. I started becoming a ruthless, and it got to me. And that's
Mhm.
part of the reason I went to all subs is I was getting so fed up with this drama, this dog shit environment that could and does happen. It happened to me. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's everybody,
Wait,
but
you don't become a crabby old man just on your own. It's through experience and
people
working
help.
around people. Yeah, people they assist in getting that anger and everything. So
But it's
I think that's
you
hard.
know, it is. It's my fault too. You know, not having enough positive environments, enough positive people in your team,
Yeah.
and then it just drops on the owner's shoulders. That's a lot of stress. You know, you're dealing with paying bills, buying equipment, not being able to afford something, worrying about bids going out, they get underbid or they make money.
Yeah.
We got guys running over mailboxes. So it's a thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's like one of the great talks that I think is important. A lot of times like employees won't tell on each other. Probably like,
right.
dude, I just caught this guy who was, he was going into Home Depot with the company card, buying Milwaukee drills, bring it home. The next day he'd go and return it and get store credit and then sell the store credit online. Ends up talking to an employee. He's like, yeah, I knew he was doing that. I'm like, you didn't want to
Okay.
tell me? He's like, well, I didn't want to snitch on him. I'm like,
What the hell?
And so I just had that talk with everybody. And I've been like, when things like that are happening, like my job is to try and create a great work environment, which means not having you work with crappy people. Because you have a job and you work with all shitty people, it's terrible. It makes everybody else miserable. There's emotions, there's all sorts of 10 times more drama. And so it's like, how do we create a great work environment? The only way I could do is if I have good people, we invest in them. When we have a bad person, we get rid of them. And we build up the organization with just people that are focused on like, let's grow this, let's build this, let's go after it. And you guys got to let me know. If you're not going to let me know, then you're not a good fit here because like you're going to allow, and
yeah,
you go to football teams. Like I always gave like, like Chicago Bears are probably, as you saw last week, they're the best coach football team in the NFL by handing off to the center on the 1 yard line and fumbling.
Right.
But I look at teams, like I said, why were the Patriots so good? And it's like, they had leadership in the organization. Tom Brady didn't put up with shit because he wanted to win. The old Bulls team, like Jordan was harder than the coaches on other players.
Right. And Brady would
like,
cuss his ass off on the sidelines.
Yeah. They'd pull him aside and be like, they bought into the mission of what they were trying to do. They wanted to win, they wanted to grow. And so I'm like, those are the kind of people we're looking for. Like if I'm in charge of doing everything, including monitoring like everything everybody does on every job, I don't have time. Like
you don't have time to grow your company.
Shitty employees next to you that are ruining everything.
We can't, as business owners, we can't do it all. Growing a company involves your team. You can go somewhere fast on your own, but if you got a team behind you, you're going to get there. I don't know what that slogan is, but it's not as fast, but you go longer. That's it.
Yeah.
So with a team, you go longer.
Yeah.
And farther. So, sure, us owners, we can make quick killer decisions. We can probably do the service just as good as an employee could or better at times. But we can't retire if we're the working person every day. Yeah. You got to get yourself out of the truck. You got to develop a team. You got to magnify the team, advertise, market, sales, get more revenue. So you can get 2, 3, 4 crews. Man, then you're on the way to retirement mode. Yeah. Does that tell you, how many crews do you have in your lighting business?
We really have 2. So that was one thing. We reduced our labor a lot and did the incentive pay so they could I mean, we could knock out a $15,000-$20,000 job in a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of revenue in one day, dude.
Yeah. A lot of product cost, even though I have the product, but it's still not free to me.
Yeah. But you're probably what, 50% gross?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. I mean, so you're talking $7,500 gross a day. I mean, that's pretty killer. I mean, shit, 7,500 times.
Well, you gotta have days where the sales aren't in.
All right. Nightmare jobs from hell. All right, Pat, do you have any crazy jobs that just brought you straight to hell?
I think one of the worst ones I did was Fort Belvoir. So it was right after 9/11. You know, I'm like, I get a chance to go light up the secure army base. All excited. Found out I underbid the job. You know, my competitors were all 100,000 plus more than me.
Oof.
But yeah. And we were out there all the time. Took an hour just to go through security. It was just a nightmare with that. We put our lights in because they wanted the lights in first, then irrigation. The irrigation guy went just S pattern right down our lines. I think we had 78 cuts. You're basically like, lights aren't even on yet. We have 78 cuts in the wire. We're just having to run all new wires.
What the hell cut them?
They had a ditch witch.
Oh,
So
okay.
They're running the ditch witch. Why the lighting went in first doesn't make sense. Like irrigation had to be a foot deep. We had to be 6 or 9 inches deep. Logic would have it go that way, but that's the way they called for it. So then, and of course, I'm like, I'm doing my duty. 9/11 happened. I love this country. Like all this, I'm like, I don't mind taking a loss on this job. And they just laughed at me.
Man.
like we felt bad.
Witch? You ran a ditch witch?
They did. We run a line ward when we're doing our trenching.
But so they cut your lines.
They cut my lines 78 times.
But how's that your fault though?
It was kind of like my lights weren't even working. You know, me being young and dumb, I'm like, well, we'll come out and like fix what they did.
Oh my God, dude.
I always had the idea, and this is a dumb mindset, like, hey, if I give you an estimate, I'm sticking to my estimate. I don't upcharge. I don't make changes.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm like, I'm doing it for my country.
Yeah. And that's another big thing, guys. When you give someone a quote, a lot of times quotes change, especially when you're there already starting to work. You get homeowners that come out, hey, can we move that hydrangea over here? And let's put, you know, I want another one over here. It's not enough bushes. And you're going to get the thing called a change order. You've got to get that in your system because, and especially you got to translate that with your employees because look, if you have to go get more plants or move shit or do this, that, and the other, you got to get paid for that. And a lot of times as business owners, we're like, I just let it slide. We were already there.
Yeah, we're there. Let's do it.
Yeah. So
best line to say is, do you want me to give you an estimate on that?
There you go.
Just to change the mindset of like, oh, it's just
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, so you'll find the evolution of the business owner. You'll do everything for everyone. You don't care about price. You think you're working and you think you're golden, but you'll find as you lose money and your profit margins as thin as a damn piece of paper, you're going to change your mindset to real business ownership. And you got to change a lot of things, which seems like it's nightmarish, but it's not. And it seems like you're trying to do one over on a customer. You're really not. You're just trying to build a brand that can make money that you can then retire from, give your employees killer pay, buy the new truck, the new equipment. And it's a thing. You got to do it. And you got to set yourself in there.
That's why contracts are so important.
Big time important. It's everything. Because it holds you accountable to provide this service A to Z. And then legally, you've got a binding contract that they are responsible to pay you for, and you're responsible to deliver. Yeah, it's better for both parties.
You always say that this contract is for your protection and mine. And it's like, you know, the other guy just did a handshake deal. I'm like, how do you know what you're getting? What product are they putting in? How do you know how many they're going to put in?
Well, he put the flags out, Pat.
Yeah,
he showed the homeowner where the lights are going.
He went to site one, got some promise this product, put in this one. You see it a lot in plantings where it's like, hey, that crepe myrtle is literally 24 inches tall. Like that was a $19 crepe myrtle instead of a 6 foot tall, 8 foot tall. So 2 years from now, it'll be at the right size.
And everything we do, and I know Pat is very similar to what I do in our business. We're constantly as business owners thinking, how can I up one that nobody else is doing in my industry? Because we're in a hot and heavy business environment here. I've got hundreds of landscapers in my damn town.
Yeah.
They're bidding on my same customers. How can I set myself apart? We're all mowing the same grass. We've all got the same employees. How can I be different? How can I justify my higher price? Because that's what you want.
AstroTurf.
Yeah, melt AstroTurf with the sun. Have a guy sitting there with a mirror.
Yeah.
And so I think of ways. It's my advertising. How am I different? It's my presentation, sales. How am I different? Am I building enough quality and solutions into my sale? Am I, because like today I was on a sales visit for another HOA, townhomes. I said, man, we subcontract everything we do. Oh, really? You don't say. And that's a shocker for some people. Yeah, I had a lot of employees back in the day, but I've transitioned into a subcontract mode, and they're all specialized. I've got a mowing crew. I've got a mulch crew. I've got a fertilization crew. I've got a irrigation crew. I got a hardscaping crew. They're all specialized. It's better for you. They're more qualified, and they've been doing it for years. And by the way, we're going to do something that your contractor may not be doing now. We're going to come here once a month, myself, because I'm the owner, account manager, billing, yada, yada now. I'm coming once a month by myself, and I'm going to grade this property. Once a month during contract. I'm going to look at shrubs. I'm going to look at lawn. I'm going to look at weeds. And we're going to have this, rate system that I'm going to send you once a month. And we're going to be on the same page. And then we're going to do newsletters. I say once a month. Sometimes it goes every 2 months. We're going to give you a heads up what we're doing each month. And then I want to meet with you and the landscape board twice a year. And we're going to walk this property together. We're going to come up with safety concerns. We're going to come up with enhancement solutions to make your property values go up. And that's what we do. We're a solution-based full-service contractor. And so you got to really unload on them. Day one, you got to be very quick with everything you do. Quick to respond, quick on quotes, quick on everything. Because if you don't, gives them that 5-minute, 5-day delay. They're going to call 3-4 others.
Yep.
To solve a problem, right?
The other big thing you did is you have I call it an elevator pitch, but like, what are your strengths? So, for us, we say the opposite. So just because like I look at it one way doesn't mean you can't turn it into your strength. I say, hey, we don't have any subs. Everybody else everyone's in-house. They've been through training. We manage it. We're specialized. Like this is all we do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I don't know if you do this in the car when I'm driving or when I'm in my truck going to an appointment, I'm actually practicing what I'm going to say. So I look like a nut job, but everybody's talking on the phone, but I'm actually role playing in my mind and sometimes out loud of like, what's my elevator pitch? And are you consistent? Like, what are our benefits? Why do you want to work with us? And I'm sitting down, slowing down the presentation and talking about that.
Yeah.
So
practice with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your team members, role play scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with, hiring, and that's with sales presentations. You got to refine it. You got to get sharp because you got to say, what's your response to rejection? What's your response going to be to when they say no, or it's too high or whatever? You got to have that already in the back. You got to have that.
Yeah. No, you do. Role playing is huge, and especially with your employees. If you don't believe me and you have somebody answering your phones, just go listen to the phone calls, and you'd be like, "Oh crap!
Oh,
what did we say here?" And it's like, I just assumed you knew what to say because I figured out what to say, and you should have figured it. It's like now you gotta have script. You gotta
Welcome to Daylum Lightning.
have,
This is Cassandra.
yeah.
You know, and they're like, you said lightning?
I actually had a phone answering service for after hours. I had to fire them because they always called it. I was enlightened at that time, and they couldn't even say it. It was like enlightened lightning. I'm like, what's lightning? I called them up, and they're like,
Oh,
we do lighting. I'm like, oh, shouldn't it be enlightened lighting?
yeah, I have an automated service. It's just AI generated, and it's a robot greeting people. Hey, press this for this and this for that. And
Yeah.
all right, so my nightmare job from hell involves someone dying, Pat. This is a real
Customer
deal
or,
customer,
Oh, right.
and
I've had that
somebody
happen too.
ends up dead.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to play this clip right now.
Killing his wife.
A jury sentenced Byron Britt today. Earlier this week, they found him guilty of killing his wife, Nancy. She was a Wake County teacher. Brian Mims spoke with her sister today and the jury foreman. Brian?
David, the month-long trial took place in Lumberton because that's where the murder happened. Myron Britt's own family members declined
This
to
is
comment
real
after
shit,
the verdict
man.
was read this afternoon,
Yeah.
but the defendant himself did have something to say.
I wish I could have worked out something with Fontaine Landscaping.
To face the rest of
All
his
right,
life
so
in prison.
this dude, Byron Britt,
Mm-hmm.
lives in, or no, take that back. He's serving a life sentence. He
Lives
lived
in
in,
prison.
huh?
Lives
Yeah.
in prison.
He lives in prison now. He's bending over getting that soap detail going, but he lived in McGregor Downs, which is an upscale community in Cary, NC.
Mm-hmm.
This is back in 1999, something like that. And I helped my dad. My dad was retired IBMer doing landscape projects, so he would just do planting. So I helped him with my team to install some sod for this Byron character. It's during the winter, shitty soil, like freaking wet. You know, during the winter, it doesn't ever dry out.
Yeah.
So we're trying to till it and lay sod, and we're stepping on it. It's got footholes in it that won't go away.
Big
We try
deep
to-
pit.
Like trying to damn install a septic field.
Was somebody digging here recently?
Jesus. Did we make it look worse?
Yeah.
No, but we did our best because it's winter time, and we had to like drag this fucking, weighted roller to try to level it out. And we did that like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, because you got foot marks and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, my dad, doing it just as a part-time gig, never had contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So he agreed with the customer, hey, we can reside your lawn. Let's say it was $10,000, which I don't remember. He said, okay, we get a down payment. It's 50%. He gave him 5. Okay. We do the job. After we're done, my dad goes, emails him, whatever, says, all right, we need the balance now. We're done. Well, Myron Britt said, no, I don't owe you any more money. I think he was a home builder at the time.
Ah.
He's like, I don't owe you any more money. And my dad's like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, no, I gave you a check and you cashed it, and we don't have a written agreement. So good luck with that. So my dad was pissed off. You can imagine he blew his top and probably called him everything under the sun. Well, my dad brought him to small claims. And the problem is you didn't have a contract. He didn't have an agreement.
Yeah.
He cashed a check. And as far as courts are concerned, if you cash a check, that's pretty much the agreement right there in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And so said service, said pay. What else do you have? You don't have anything. So my dad lost the damn case. 2 years or so later, ends up killing his wife, Nancy, and his wife would go visit her sister, who was, I think, had some, issues or whatever. So she would care for her a little bit, like an hour or so away. Well, that's crazy some bitch. He got into trouble with his building business, got on hard times, needed money. He put up some life insurance policies on her, and
Gotta kill her.
And so he developed a plan. I'm going to go kill that ass, baby. And he went to that house, got in somehow, surprised him. And I don't know what happened with the sister. I think she was okay. He just shot the wife, the one with a bounty on her.
Yeah.
Shot her, left the bullet. It was a 25 caliber. Shot her right in the chest. I think it was just one shot. So they collected a 25 caliber shell casing. They had no other leads to go by because no cameras back then, no witnesses. I think the sister must have been asleep, and he surprised his wife.
Should be drunk if gunshot doesn't wake you up.
Well, no, but she was like handicapped or something, so she couldn't jump out and go fucking throw the shotgun out. What the fuck's going on here? So anyway. Luckily, one of the only ways, well, 2 ways he got caught. How do you think it was?
Ballistics
and the life insurance policies.
Yeah, you're done.
So
you're the husband with the gun and you have a life insurance.
Okay. So they never found the gun. Okay. So how did they collect the dots there? Well, as a matter of fact, 2 years prior, at his parents' place, they had an incident where they were called to the parents. Someone shot off a gun mistakenly in the house. There was a bullet lodged in the sheetrock. They collected it, reported the case. Oh, nobody no harm, no foul. It was an accident, but they kept the evidence. That bullet, sir, in the sheetrock was the same caliber as the crime scene now. They took both shell casings because they kept them in storage.
Yeah.
Lined them up on the machine. Boom, same gun. Same gun.
Wouldn't you think he'd get rid of the gun?
No, he got rid of the gun, but the shell
gave it to his
casing.
parents.
Well, no, the shell casing is the same from the parents episode to the murder. And the jury was in there for 40 minutes to make a decision. Boom. Yeah. They nailed his ass, dude. Life in prison, goner. But that was the nightmare. Client from hell.
That's a good one. Good Halloween one. Now she haunts him in prison.
I hope so. I hope he gets gang raped every day, too. He's somebody's bitch. And then my dad's still pissed over that shit, man.
Yeah. Now we got, election next week. That's coming to a close. So you want to just tell everybody who you're voting for and why and cause all sorts of...
Of course not. Well, that wraps up this episode, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a like on Spotify and Apple. And leave us a review if you can, and comment if you had some spooky stories in your past that you want to bring to light. And we'd love to hear them. If you have any questions, or if you want to even schedule a one-on-one meeting with me or Pat, send us an email at outdoorsyentrepreneur@gmail.com. Make sure you're subscribed to the Outdoorsy YouTube channel and hit those notifications and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on their social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Business tools we love, use, and highly recommend. Big Tuna websites, baby. House Call Pro field service software. And ZebBit budgeting and estimation software. We got money-saving links down in the description below with special discounts to our Outdoorsy community, baby. Big thanks to everybody watching. Small business owners, we got to level up, even if it's that 1% per day effort to make our business better. We got to build a business that's going to help us retire and make some money. Until next time, stay safe and keep growing your business.
Happy Halloween.
Peace out. Peace out, everybody. Later.